And they had planted flowers everywhere, and it's one spectacular place. And one thing nice about the boat house, don't have to worry about boat covers, you know what I mean? Saving a lot on canvas. Have a whole upstairs, it's all big shop area. And we'll show you a video of that island a little bit later. But you know, here's another little story I want to read to you that helps you understand free enterprise and helps you understand the way governments understand things. But it's something you need to think about. And as I close, I just want to read to you about the modern little red hen. Once upon a time, there was a little red hen who scratched about the barnyard until she uncovered some grains of wheat. She called her neighbors and said, "If we plant this wheat, we shall have bread to eat. Who will help me plant it?" "Not I," said the cow. "Not I," said the duck. "Not I," said the pig. And "not I," said the goose. "Well, then I will," said the little red hen, and she did. The wheat grew tall and ripened into golden grain. "Who will help me reap my wheat?" asked the little red hen. "Not I," said the duck. "That's out of my classification," said the pig. I'd lose my seniority," said the cow. "I'd lose my unemployment compensation," said the goose. "Then I will," said the little red hen, and she did. At last it came time to bake the bread. "Who will help me bake the bread?" asked the little red hen. "That would be overtime for me," said the cow. "I'd lose my welfare benefits," said the duck. "I'm a dropout and never learned how," said the pig. "If I'm the only helper, that's discrimination," said the goose. "Then I will," said the little red hen, and she did. She baked 5 loaves of bread and held them up for her neighbors to see. They all wanted some. In fact, they demanded a share. But the little red hen said, "No, I can eat the loaves myself. I did all the work myself. You all had an opportunity to help, but you refused to for one reason or another." "Excess profits," cried the cow. "Capitalist leech," screamed the duck. "I demand equal rights," yelled the goose. And the pig just grunted. And they painted unfair picket signs and marched round and around the little red hen, shouting obscenities. And they seeked out the government agent, who had then came and said to the little red hen, "You must not be greedy. But I earned this all myself. No one would help at all. They were all given a chance to help." "Exactly," said the little red hen. "This is the wonderful new free enterprise system. Anyone can do as much as they want, but under the new government regulations, we are going to take and divide the productive workers' profits with all the idle." And they all lived happily ever after, including the little red hen, who smiled and clucked, "I am grateful, I am grateful." But her neighbors wondered why she never again baked any more bread. We love you. Great sharing with you. I'd like to bring up my sweetheart. Here's Linda.
Hi. Are we excited? Do we have a dream? Do we have a dream? Okay, I heard you. You guys seem like you're really excited today. Like you're really expecting something real exciting to happen. And I think a lot of that has already happened today, but I just want to share with you a few things this afternoon. And I hear there's a lot of new people here today. Is that right? For the first time, first big function. Can I hear you out there? All right. I can't see you, so I got to hear you, okay? So if I ask for a response, just scream something out so I know you're there. All I can see is these 2 big lights hit me. So I wish I had a flashlight. I'd shine them out there at you just to see your faces. But I think I'm going to talk to you about a dream today, because that's what got Fred and I to where we're at today. And I remember our very first function we went to. It was a seminar, and we walked in, and it was like in a school auditorium, and we walked in the back, and there was this guy that had graduated with my brother. His name was Tom Hansen, and my brother had graduated like 4 or 5 years ahead of me. But I knew who he was, and I saw him. I said, Fred, I know that guy. And I was so excited because I knew someone, and I thought, well, maybe this business is okay, because I was scared, and I didn't know if it was all right, and I didn't know if it was legal. And I was the most negative person you could ever met when we saw this business, because I just wasn't sure of anything, and I didn't want to get into something that wasn't right. And when I saw his face, it was a familiar face, and I said, Fred, let's go talk to him. So we went over, and I said, Tom, I don't know if you remember me, but I said, you graduated with a brother of mine, Kenny. And he said, yeah, Ken Hovis. And I said, yeah. He said, yeah. He said, hey, listen. He said, don't let anybody steal your dreams. And I just kind of laughed. I said, oh, I won't, Actually, I didn't have a whole lot of dreams at that time, because I didn't have a reason to dream, because I didn't have a way to get my dreams. And here this business had been introduced to us, but I didn't understand it. And all I knew is there's a bunch of circles drawn and some figures put in them. And then Fred said we were going to a seminar, and away we went. And so I just kind of laughed at him, and I said, oh, I won't. We walked into the function, and we saw a couple come on stage. And they seemed so excited, and they just seemed like they had so much together, as a couple. They seemed to really love each other. They seemed to really be excited about their dreams and where they were going, and they talked about the things they'd accomplished. And I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, I wonder if Fred feels that way about me. I just saw a radiating, caring, loving relationship that I felt I was missing at that time. And we'd only been married a year or so, and maybe a couple years, and isn't it funny how the honeymoon wears off after about a week? And we just kind of got into real life, and we were broke, and we were trying to figure out how, we were renting a home for $75 a month. It was really sad. And, so I guess basically what I'm trying to tell you is we've been poor and we've been rich, and rich is better. Okay? So put that in your notes. But, we've come from nothing. We've come from not having anything. We've come from a 3-legged couch and a 3-legged TV set to match it, and junk furniture. And so we know what it's like not to have. And we knew that we didn't want to stay there. And so when I sit out there at this first function, I just sit there and I just kind of absorbed everything. I watched the couple. I kept sitting there and I kept thinking, I wonder if this could work for Fred and I. It's not just for just certain people, but it could work for us. And then I saw the different awards like you all had today, and I saw the different people walking across stage, and I thought, well, everybody's doing it. All different walks of life. And I thought, why can't we do it? My first function, I got a lot of hope that just maybe we could do something with it. Just maybe we could, someday own our own home. Never dreaming we'd own 9. And so you start out there. You start out, with hope that, you can change something. You can get a 4-legged couch. You can get a 4-legged TV set if you want one. We don't have time to watch those things, but, at least just to have furniture in your house, they can have 4 legs to them, And it just starts out a little bit at a time. But you got to have a vision. You got to know what you want from the business. And it doesn't have to be something big right now. It'd be good to have something that you need to work towards that you can't have right now with your income, but have some smaller things that you can get along the way. Like Fred said, when we go direct, Linda, we can get a new dinette set for the kitchen. Well, my kitchen dinette set was really sad because it had been handed to me with my from my grandmother when we got married, and it was one of those yellow chrome things when the seats were all split and the cotton was coming out, and we just put a big old piece of tape down, and when people would come to visit, when they start to bend their legs, I'd pull the chair out, and they'd sit down, and I'd slide them under, and then when they'd stand up, I'd quick stand up, and they'd stand up, I'd quick slide it back under the table so they couldn't see the seat of the chair. And so, there was just a lot of things that we wanted to change in our lives, but, and this business was going to be it, but I didn't know that. I didn't know it at first, and I was scared, and I wanted it to work, and I didn't know for sure if it would. And then we came. And for some of you that may be sitting here for the first time, the first function is a good first one to come to. I'll tell you, you can look around and see it works. But, I sit there just hoping that they would say something to convince me that Fred and Linda could do this thing. And they did. They got me excited enough to go home, and Fred said we're going to have a meeting, and we had some meetings, and we got a few people in, and I had got a few customers, and I started really getting excited. But I remember at that first function they said, "Danny, you need to be listening to tapes and reading books and getting to all the functions." And I thought, well, going to the functions was fun. I mean, we got to listen to some great speakers, and they entertained us, like Fred entertained you this afternoon, and it was fun. I liked that. But I never was a great reader. I got through school, and I thought, good, I'll put the books away now. But what I didn't understand, that we were going to be on a continuing education in this business. And I didn't understand the importance of the books right away. So Linda didn't get into the books right away, and Fred did. And it seemed like Linda started getting negative over little things and nitpicking and complaining about things. And Fred would just say, Fred wouldn't hear me. He'd just, either walk away from me or just say, you need to get this, and this done. And he just kept on moving ahead. And I got a little discouraged because he wouldn't get negative with me. And of course, people that are miserable like to have someone else miserable with them, and he wouldn't get miserable with me, and I was really mad then. And so I thought, well, if he isn't going to join me, maybe I should join him. So I thought, maybe there is some things in these books. So I started reading about Linda in these books. I started reading. I couldn't put these books down. I felt like someone had snuck up on my life and started writing about me, And I started seeing myself in a lot of things, and I started hearing a lot of things on the tapes that I really related to, and I thought, hey, that's me, And I couldn't wait until the woman came on, because I needed to know that she went through some struggles and she doubted sometimes, and I needed to know that, even through those little doubts, that she hung on, and she hung in there with her husband, and they made it. I needed to hear the victories. I needed to hear someone, struggling, but it was worth it, and I had to hear all this stuff. And that's what I got from these functions. I heard their struggles. I saw them crying. I saw them laughing. I saw them receiving their diamond pins, like you saw the two couples today receive their diamond award. And it's so exciting. It is so exciting. One thing in this business will never, ever get old, is giving an award to a new diamond. It is so exciting, and I think the reason it is such an emotional thing to me is because I can remember when we went diamond. And I remember a lot of the struggles that no one knew about, because we didn't want people to know the struggles. We wanted them to know it was worth it. But then as we got on the speaking circuit and we went around and we shared our story, we started sharing some of the struggles. And when the people started hearing the struggles, they started realizing they could make it too, because that was just all part of it. It was all part of growing. It was all part of becoming somebody. It was all part of becoming an eagle. And an eagle can go through, thank you. You always come through for me. See, when I see a diamond, I see eagles. Because an eagle can tolerate a lot of things. An eagle can, there's a certain amount of strength about an eagle that can just weather the storms and can be so powerful and can just weather a lot of the storms in your own life and the struggles that will come your way. But you know what? If you look at them and say, hey, I'm going to grow through these things. I am in control of my life. I am in control of my attitude. And I'm moving on, and I'm changing what I want to change. And I'm not going to let other people affect my attitude or the way I react. And I'm going to be in control of that, and I'm going to be in control of my happiness. And I think once I figured that all out, which it took me a while, when we got in this business, I didn't have it figured out. And that's the beautiful thing about the business, is that people learn to have patience. They learn to give you the time to grow that you need. And we all get in at different levels in the business. We get in at different timings in our lives when different things are happening, and we've been through different challenges. And some of us are maybe more ready than others. Some of us have been through some struggles, like Fred had been through a lot of struggles that I hadn't been through. And that was another thing I didn't understand, is that his life was a lot harder than my life growing up. I was surrounded, even though my father was an alcoholic, and he had left my mom with 8 children, and I was probably about 5 years old when he walked away. Even though he wasn't in the home, I always knew I was special. My mom had some special way of letting us all know that we were loved, that God loved us, and she loved us, and I had a security that I can't explain. And I had a lot of great, pleasant memories growing up, even though we didn't have anything and we were broke. There were times when I'd look at other kids and they'd be wearing the more updated clothes than I was or whatever, and I'd wish I could. But you know what? I always knew that I was loved and that God loved me. And then Fred had come from a little different background with lots of kids in the family, which there were 8 in mine and there's 14 in his. But he had a lot of different struggles that I didn't have. So he had already weathered some storms. And he'd gotten tough, okay? And I was the weakling. So when we got married, he could take on some things, and he would take on some challenges, and he'd be out there, and he would just go full force. And, anybody look at me cross-eyed, I'd start crying. He'd say, Linda, what is the matter with you?